And welcome. Reverend Robin Hafetz here, with a brief interfaith sermon for this election day. This is the 19th in a series for these pandemic times. It has been weeks, I think over a month, since I've recorded a sermon. Partly it's been that my day job has been really busy, and so is my husband's, and he's my editor. And for that, we feel blessed. I feel blessed. But mostly it's that I, like so many other people I know, have been so dismayed, so horrified by the words and actions of our fucking chief denier of justice and truth, the DJT, who I will let remain nameless, and his enablers and minions and cultists and handlers, so repulsed by the lies and corruption and lies and calls for violence and lies and calls for literal overthrow of democracy and lies, so aware that a change must happen and so afraid to hope that it will, that I have been numbed, exhausted, silenced. A friend asked me, though, what, as an ordained minister, would you say to someone who feels hopeless? And I admitted first that I had been one of those people for the last several weeks. And then I realized that our hopelessness and my silence is just what that rotting jack-o'-lantern wants, just what he's trying to make happen. So, what can I say? I pulled myself together and thought of some things to say. So first, let me pray that my words and the stirrings of all of our hearts may be acceptable in the witness of that one and oneness that we may call God or Goddess, or Spirit or Great Mother or Consciousness or Nature, that higher power that is beyond names and naming. And may our time together through these high-tech means, and our time with those we care about, family and friends and fellow citizens, bring blessing and the awareness that our connectedness is holy and reveals our true nature as part of the sacred web of reality. Amen. So what can I say as a minister to those who are feeling a dearth of hope? I am very hopeful that we as a nation are about to get a divorce and walk away from our toxic relationship with the sexual predator and super spreader currently in the White House, which is, by the way, the people's house. Our house. But just because the bad man is forcibly asked to relocate doesn't mean the bad stuff will stop happening. And we all know that. I won't get into the scenarios. After all, we know he and his will cheat and lie and bend the law and even attempt to bend reality. He's out there right now saying that COVID is fake. Doctors are faking it because they make money on it. It's insane. He's been doing all of that all along, though. And doing it at the same time as taking over branches of government like a cancer. He's poured tons of sewage into the swamp and left us with a Superfund site in our house. So, yes, we will be survivors of an abusive relationship, of major trauma, either within the next couple of weeks or in a few years. So how can we hope? How can we go forward? How? Like survivors do, by holding together, holding it together. Holding together as a people, a country, defined not by skin color or religion or gender or sexual identity or income or where we came from, but by the ideals of democracy and equality, even when our government is not living up to or even pretending to espouse those ideals. It is those ideals that make this nation America. And we hold it together as individuals. As I have said before, we keep on keeping on, voting for what we know to be right, fighting for what we know to be right, speaking up for what we know to be right. I consulted the I Ching, asking for words that needed to be said now, to be heard now, and I got a very fitting hexagram, number 8, unity, union. It's an image of water on the earth. And it takes its message from the way waters come together, following nature's paths to joining. We read, water fills up all the empty places and clings fast to the earth. Water flows to unite with water, because all parts of it are subject to the same laws. So too should human society hold together through a community that allows each individual to feel themselves to be a member of the whole. What is required is that we unite with others in order that all may aid one another through holding together. A strong sense of unity and wholehearted commitment is required for team success. In holding together with others, yes, cling to your own principles, but be willing to subordinate personal desires when they compromise the good of the group. So, the advice we are given is to hold together and to act for the common good. Perhaps you wish someone else had won the primary and was on the ballot. Perhaps you're planning to sit this one out. Take one for the team. Vote the bad man out. This hexagram, by the way, adds an addendum that union, can be such a daunting task that there is danger in it, and those who come late may be left out, and that one may even want to consult the oracle again to see if one is up to the task. I did, trembling for this talk, afraid of what I might get, but I got the hexagram possession in great measure, indicating that our holding together is favored, not certain, not without danger, but favored. And my hope is increased somewhat by this reading. I'm also given hope by the almost 100 million Americans who have joined early and already voted, myself included. And if you're planning to vote in person today, perhaps you should get in line early. That's what the hexagram suggests anyway. I'm given hope by the many, many people who have peacefully marched and protested and knocked on doors and phone banked and written letters and given modest donations and made art and prayed and kept their eyes open to witness and speak against the degradation that has been inflicted upon our people, our nation. But let's be honest, again, bad things are probably still going to keep happening. And cancer surgery, even if we excise the cancer soon, can hurt and scar, and cancer cells can keep clustering and mounting attacks on the body. So then, too, we are called to hold it together, to take care of ourselves and our loved ones and our fellow beings, to keep doing the right thing for public health and for our human family and for this earth, to hold to our ideals and our knowledge of our connectedness. Though this year has been a test, I do have the sort of faith that helps me to hope. I believe, as did Martin Luther King, that the arc of the moral universe may be long, but it bends towards justice. I believe that my span on earth is but a moment, and that the ways and timing of the Holy One are not mine to know, but I trust in God. I believe that the kingdom of heaven is at hand and within, and that it is at its fundament love. Whether you share all or any of these beliefs, I pray for you and for all of us, and invite you to pray with me that the modicum of hope in both the short and long term that we need to help us hold it together, be given. I pray that we are made aware of our blessings as well as our difficulties, that when we look up from the news and into the eyes of someone we care about in person or even on Zoom, that we feel more love and less fear, that we know ourselves to be loved and lovable, that we renew our intention to love our neighbors as ourselves, and do not fall into the soul-diminishing habits of our adversaries, that we honor and tend our own inner spark, and let that light flow from us to nourish the unity that is our nature. I say to this, Amen. And I add, on this topic of hope, I had a grandmother named Hope. She was, more than almost anyone I know, somebody who held it together in good times and bad. I am inspired by her, and I hope that you are inspired by this hopeful reading. Thank you.